Okay, so let's talk about this laning phase, right? Typically you want to be at this spot here at like 9:45. Okay, so you want to do this lane clearing relatively quickly, okay, because time is of the essence in a game like Pokemon Unite, especially if you're trying to get some stacks in. So what you want to do is you want to follow these bushes, and if the enemy comes by, you just, like, you know, if you're using Lucario, you just quick attack through them or something like that. And then don't just run into stack, okay? Fire off a skill on the piece of farm up here. So run in, hit an attack so you lower it, and then get that score, because in the process of you scoring, that skill that you've just used is going on cooldown. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to clear as quickly as possible. Okay, now a couple things could happen here, so I'm going to zoom up a little bit here. So you're looking for 3 to 4 stacks before the bees. Now that's not always going to happen. That's ideal. If you get 1 stack, then that's fine, because priority number 1 is don't die. Okay, if you die, you get 0 stacks. You would rather not die, get some farm, and be holding on to like 20 money instead of dying, not getting much of the farm, and then coming back up to the lane mega behind. Because not only has the enemy killed you, but they've also gotten your farm. So you would, like, that's not a good thing. So priority number 1 is don't die, and priority number 2 is get farm and stack. Now, this second part here, you can get the farm and you can stack it, but you've either got the enemies contesting you for it or the enemy not contesting you for it. Now we'll start with the enemy contesting you for it. So what you want to do, and it's nice with Lucario, this is why people like to stack with Lucario, is because you want to use your 2 skills at once if they're both attacking, to try and get that farm as well as you can. So with Lucario, you Meteor Mash the farm and you try and hit the enemy, because when you Meteor Mash them, you're also stunning the enemy, and then you quick attack through immediately, because that quick attack will go off before the enemy can react, because they're still stunned from the Meteor Mash. So that should do enough burst damage to get the kill on the farm, and then you get the stack in, right? And then you move up and you repeat onto here. So you go to this piece of farm, and then you line the enemy up, you make sure the farm's on maybe 40%, and then you Meteor Mash quick attack. The quick attack puts you back onto the jump pad, and then you get your stack. So by that stage, if you've done that well, you've got 3 stacks, and then you've got this bit of farm up here. Now this bit of farm, you only stack if you're in a position to do so. If you're on low health, then you hit this farm, and you run back here, because you're trying to get your health back. If you get this bit of farm, and then this bit of farm, you hit your level 5. Now level 5 with Lucario at the first bees is essentially game over, right? Or you can either get this farm, and if you're in a good enough position, you can get in for a 4th stack, and you are miles ahead. So that's case number 1, is if you're being contested, right? Case number 2 is when you're not being contested. You hit the farm, you get your 3 stacks in. You then, on the way back, don't always look for this bit of farm. What you should be doing, because if you're uncontested, the enemies are here, and typically your laning partner is struggling. You need to support your laning partner. Don't just go and get the farm and get a 4th stack. That is so greedy. People do it all the time, and it is mega tilting as a laning partner who's been doing so well. Like, if they're still alive, generally this guy here and this guy here, they're low enough on health, and you're 3 stacks up. So you kill them. You run back. You pan over the map, because your teammate will be giving you vision. You look at the enemy that's on half health and you kill them. You do that before you go for any of the farm. Okay, that's good, because you are going to boost morale. And also, when you kill an enemy, they drop money. And when they drop the money, you can stack the money. Okay, but essentially you want to kill them. If you can stack, you stack. You don't overcommit. You're ahead by that point. And generally, if you get the kill on this guy here, you've got to be so careful for that jungler coming up. So I will typically never go and stack a 4th time if I kill the enemy, unless if I've got extreme speed. In which case, you're pretty much, you can play as crazy as you want. Okay, now what about the laning phase if you're not using a stacking Pokemon like a Ninetales or a Pikachu or a Dragapult, even though I think Dragapult's silly, but something like that. Okay, what you want to do is, typically, if you're not stacking, you might have a laning partner who is stacking. So your role is you're doing damage to these guys. Okay, if you've got a partner who's stacking, you're A pressing. You're really not trying to secure much farm unless if the enemy gets it low enough, and then you can try and secure it. If there's a piece of farm here, let me zoom in a bit here. This is you're the black dot, the enemy's this cross here, let me get rid of that, and the farm is the red box. You are A pressing because what you want to be doing is you want to be damaging them. You want their health to get to like 50%. That way, even if they get the farm, and even if they get the stack, you can keep A pressing them, so when they go to run, your teammate can sweep and get the kill. Okay, this is a frustrating role to play, especially if your teammate doesn't want to cooperate. Alright, now, what if your teammate also stays here, and the enemy team's pushing up for farm, and they've still got their farm there? Okay, don't do a 2v2 on your base. Please don't do that, because if the enemy take this farm and the enemy take that farm, then they've got their farm, and in order for you to get, they're already ahead by that point, and then in order for you to get even, you have to push further. Now time has gone by and you're pushing further, and the jungler comes up and your lane gets wiped. So please don't ever do that. So if you're in the case, if your teammate decides to stay back and two of them are pushing, you just go and push early, straight away. Just go and take their farm. Because if you're in a position where they take your farm and they've still got their farm and you've got nothing, your lane is pretty much screwed. Right, so I think the non-stacking laner is a little bit of a trickier role to play because you've got to be a little bit more careful. But again, the priority number one is you just do not die.
Okay, now I just want to talk over kind of this laning phase here with the Pikachu, because we've got it in theory, but in practice this can be a little bit tricky. Right, you can see the junglers come up and my laning partner is a supporter. Now that's like a solo queue, a supporting Clefable, that's really amazing. But I've pinged that watch out, right, because like we don't want to push and die because we know that jungler's up and we can get smashed, right? So I just Electro Ball, I mistime it to not get any farm, that's okay, and I just ping watch out, like come back, okay? Because for us here, if we die, they steamroll our lane, so the best we can do is just stop them from getting any scores in. Okay, now this is pretty much always going to be a rough start because Slowbro is pretty hard to lane against, right? He's got a lot of pressure, especially Scald Slowbro, and if they've got a jungle visit with something like an Absol, they're just going to be ahead. Right? Now if you're playing against a Slowbro who gets ahead nice and early, so he's at least keeping even or above levels on you, that's really, really hard, right? So you can see I'm never really pushing past that halfway point because there's no need to, right? It's too risky. I'm just looking to make sure that myself or the Clefable can secure a bit of farm, and we're a little bit late to this mid farm, but I can see no one on my team is there, and when I get here, their team's there. So I'm pretty sure I get picked off here. Yep, the Absol picks me off. And so again, it's a little bit frustrating, but you just have to trust that your team is looking after whatever they're doing. So they've done a big gank down to the bottom lane, so you just trust that they're going to come online and they're going to help you come online. So now we're playing from behind here, right? And this is a pretty tricky spot. And my mantra is don't take the buffs, but just take the experience when you can. So there's the Baltoys in the jungle, there's the Baltoys in the mid, right? And just play it safe. So I've got both my skills here, and I've timed my Electro Ball a lot better that time to get all of those middle Bs, and then an Electro Ball to get the big B. So that's a really, really good, right? So that was a bit of a turning point for me to be able to get a lot of that farm. And really, at this point, we're kind of just looking as a Pikachu, we're looking to support the team because we've got that Volt Tackle now, so we can be really, really useful in team fight. And we're just looking to get that level 9 as soon as possible. So you can see, even with a rough laning phase, if you just don't die, don't let them just dominate your lane, right, then you can put yourself in a really, really good spot. So our bottom lane is, like, again, you just have to trust. So we were struggling, but you just minimize the loss as much as possible, because if you're getting smashed at some point in the map, your team surely is doing the right thing and pushing hard with whatever they're doing. And that was the case for our team. And you see the Mamos scoring 30 on their tier 2, right? Nice and early. So that's pretty good. A lot of score pressure getting ahead. And I'm just pinging watch out, because if this Clefable dies, I know I'm screwed. So it takes 2 to tango. He's done really, really well there. And they're looking to get that lucky, but I don't really care because our team's engaging in a fight. I see it, I say I don't care because they're not going to be able to score if we kill them. So I don't even care if the Regieleki walks in. So at this point, I'm getting pretty close to my ult. And with Pikachu, you want to use your ult as soon as you get it. So you can see here, I see 3 of them. I should have united before I Volt Tackled, but that's okay. I've got the unite off. A lot of big damage comes out, and then you're just looking to get any little scores and little farm pretty much for the next 3 minutes straight, right? Right up until this 2-minute mark, all you're looking to do is get a little farm. So just get Bow Toys, because Pikachu's Unite recharges so quickly, and you're just looking to get the recharge and get the kills, right? Because his Unite move is super, super powerful. So it's try and get that Unite move as fast as possible. Typically, if you've got your 2 tier 1s up, you want to defend it. You don't want to give them any free scores or any free stacks, because you've done so well to get ahead, so you stay ahead. And then when there's a team fight opportunity, so I can see there's a bit of a team fight happening down bottom, you try and make sure you're in position for when that fight's going to happen. So obviously we knew as soon as we left that lane that someone would be scoring in the top lane, but if he's scoring in the top lane and there's 5 of us down at the bottom and we're ahead, we're going to be winning every single fight we go into. So Volt Tackle, amazing, amazing work there, right? You can see as soon as I see a couple of them, I'm just looking to use that Unite move, get the Volt Tackle, get some big damage and big kills off, because that Electro Ball is a sure hit. And you can see with the, if you fight with a team with Pikachu, you can do so well. Okay, again, I didn't want to score there, but I saw my team running up to score. If I didn't stand on the goal zone for the Garchomp, and the Clefairy would have joined me as well, the Garchomp doesn't score, and even worse, the Garchomp's not really going to be able to get away, right? So while we're doing that, a team gets the objective, and just have a look at the support, right? They trust the stalling that we're providing. So this team is just doing really, really well, but it's compounded by Pikachu, right? I'm spamming retreat, again using those little pings, but you're just looking to take the little bits of farm, right? You'll never, ever, ever be taking a buff. Never be fighting a big group of bees, okay? You just want to get the little stuff and move on, okay? You want to recharge that Unite move. Here you can see I get the 2 little bees, and then I look to get other little farm here. So I want to defend the bottom lane. I thought I was going to fight the big bee, but I know I don't do that. Okay, I look to fight here. I missed the Mr. Mime. That was really bad. I should have gone in with Electro Ball for AoE damage. But again, just look at the damage. Alright, look at the damage. You've got the 2 supporters there. And then as soon as my Clefable comes down, I feel confident enough just to continue up. Pikachu just does a crazy amount of damage. Alright, so getting to this point, okay, and again, just keep in mind, this is the same game that I was struggling in lane. Okay, pretty much got nothing, we got ganked, but we minimized the loss, so now we're in a position where our team, obviously, if they were going heavy on top lane and they left their bottom lane open, then our team was able to capitalize, right? And it was at my cost, but that's totally fine, because if you know how to minimize the cost of that, then you're going to be able to do really, really well in a lot of games. Now, I often find in solo queue, this actually isn't a rare case. This is not a rare case. Okay, a lot of the time, if my team, it's like we are ganked top and my jungler ganks bottom, you just have to play it safe. You kite back. Okay, follow that 3-second rule that we talked about. Right? All you have to do is just play it safe. Okay, let the enemy overcommit, because if you die, that lane is over. So 2-minute mark here. We're just looking. I'm saving that Volt Tackle because I knew that Absol was going to come in. You want to try and CC them so they don't get the secure, but that's fine. We look to just take the team fight here, and just crazy work from everyone, really. So we've got a big lead here. We've killed 3, and really we're just in a position where we can rip. Okay, even if we don't secure, that's totally fine. It's totally fine, because we just want to fight them here. Okay, so I trust our team is going to be able to get secure. And because there's 5 of us in there, only 2 of them in, even if they get the secure, we can just look to pick a fight, because we're so far ahead. All we need to do is kill 3 people. And then with that Ray Shield, you always look to fight. Okay, don't just look to run in a stack, because you get that attack boost as well. So you can just see so much damage coming out, so much value from the Pikachu. Okay, just heaps and heaps of work coming out, especially if you're working with a tank. Get a big triple kill there, which is cool. Hopefully getting 100 score in here, but right when we think it can happen, the enemies decide to forfeit the game. And so you can see, even though we're a little bit behind from the early game, just look at the amount of damage that we were able to produce with Pikachu. 12 kill, 12 assists, 100k damage, and this is a Volt Tackle set. So if you made it this far and you appreciate this sort of content, I would really like if you could give it a like and drop a comment and let me know what you think. But hopefully this stacking guide helps and you can see whether you're winning the lane or whether you're losing the lane or whether you're stacking or not stacking, you can get value no matter where you are.